Welcome in to one of the most special nights I and many of you at home and wherever you are in the world have seen here at TD Garden. Larry Bird's 60-point record stood alone for 36 years. We just heard John Zanis on our Celtics postgame show talk about how Kevin McHale scored the 56, and then within a short stretch after that, Larry Bird scored 60, and no one has frankly approached it since then. Jayson Tatum scored 60 points in this game, and it wasn't an empty 60 points. The final two gave the Celtics a 3-point lead in overtime after they trailed by as many as 32 in the first half tonight. And the Celtics overcame it, win 143-140 in overtime, saved themselves from falling into the play-in tournament with 8 games remaining in this NBA season. When you start to rattle off all the significance of every single point within the flow of this game, as well as this game in the bigger picture of the Celtics season, where they've had great comeback attempts and haven't been able to pull them off, this one is going to stand alone as one of the greatest performances in Celtics history. Now, you can talk about Isaiah Thomas's 53 points in the playoffs, numerous playoff performances throughout Celtics history. Ray Allen's come to mind. It was just an anniversary today of one of Ray Allen's great performances in the first round against the Chicago Bulls in 2009. Those are hard to top, but in a season where the Celtics needed a turning point, where they needed a significant moment of hope and inspiration and energy, what better than this? This was the third biggest comeback in NBA history, 32 points. Our friend Max Letterman over at NBC Sports Boston tweeted out that this was only the second time since 1954 that a team went behind by 29 points in the first half and came back to win. 2 times since 1954. That's the level of history we saw tonight. And it was an honor. It was humbling. It was energizing. It felt special every moment of that second half. The way the Celtics were getting out in transition. The way Tatum was diving on the back line for dunks. The and 1-3 toward the end of the fourth quarter as the Celtics were getting within 9 points, within 4 points at that point, and then ultimately tying the game a couple times down the stretch here. An incredible moment. Not to mention getting into overtime and scoring 10 points in 5 minutes the way Tatum did. Critical baskets, great free throws late, and then after Patty Mills hit a 3 to get the Spurs within 1, Demar DeRozan, Patty Mills, those guys were peppering them with shots throughout that second half just to make it hard enough. The Celtics got within single digits with about 7:50 to go or so in this game. They were right back in it within a few possessions with a ton of time to go in this one. And the likes of Lonnie Walker and others on that Spurs team just hit them with these free throws. In DeMar DeRozan's case, he went 15 of 18 at the line, tried his best to go toe-for-toe with Tatum in this one. But after Mills hit that 3 off of him, Tatum had just been at the line, got 57, got 58, made it a 4-point game. Spurs, with 4 seconds left, we're going to be able to guard an inbounds there. They're in a play-in race there in the West. Tight. They needed this one. They had just collapsed in an unprecedented manner. Tatum had to get that inbounds, which he did under the basket. He went right up, finished it, threw the foul from behind, and in one of the worst officiating blunders we've seen here at the Garden, the refs called it on the floor. Bonus. Tatum goes to the line, 2 free throws. He needs to make it a 3-point game. 59 goes down, 60 goes down, but no 61. And he missed a free throw at the end of regulation that helped us get into overtime in the first place. Spurs were right on top of the Celtics into the final seconds of this one. Collapsed in a dramatic way, but still made it extremely hard on the Celtics defense late when it came to fouling in particular. So Tatum needed every one of those 60 on a night where Jaylen Brown struggled mightily. Way off, not great decisions on his shot making throughout the course of this one. He made up for it in a big way with a late 3 that tied the game, as well as a steal on DeMar DeRozan that helped seal this game down the stretch as well. It was overturned on a replay. Another big moment. Aaron Nesmith. Not only his putback to start overtime on Brown's miss, but at the end of the fourth quarter, winning a jump ball, getting down the floor after winning that jump ball. I believe it was Brown who threw an outlet pass to Tatum, went just over where he could control it, fell out of his hands, and who's underneath the rim but Aaron Nesmith, who scores 16 points in this one, built on what he was able to accomplish on Wednesday in his career game to that point, has an even better game tonight, all over the rebounds, and in the end, closed this game with a steal on the final possession. So as much as this was the Jayson Tatum night, this is going to be one he remembers for the rest of his career. He handed the game ball to Deuce. The 60-point game ball, which is still so hard to imagine here. Aaron Nesmith put himself on the map here in this game, was every bit as important with Jayson Tatum, saving possessions, getting stops, playing with incredible energy, pace, and determination in that second half, and shot making. Big three in the fourth quarter, another big shot in overtime. I believe he hit 6 of 7 in this one, and in his 19 three-pointers up to this point, his last 19, he was shooting 47% from three. So we saw the rebounding, the physicality, knocking DeMar DeRozan to the ground with a hard foul early in this one that I loved, as well as the ability to salvage possessions, and everyone ended up mattering down the stretch of this game. His performance was incredible. It was a closing one. Another night where Evan Fournier, although he hit some threes in that second half, went 3 of 6, wasn't quite himself. His performance proved vital, and you're now seeing a case for Aaron Nesmith to be the one who rises above when it comes to that bench and be a reliable 8th, 9th, maybe 10th man off that bench if the Celtics are able to get fully healthy here. Where does it go from here? Trailblazers on Sunday, and then a stretch run with a big series against the Heat into May now as we begin May. But this April for Tatum, shooting close to 65% at the rim, powering his way through defenders, getting to the free throw line 18 times in this one. Just using the weight that he's put on, the way that he's filled out his body, and finally using it to his advantage. Not avoiding contact, embracing contact. The step back jumpers that he hit in this one, 5 of 7 from 3, iconic. This felt special. I'm still emotional thinking about this one, just from a basketball standpoint. The special moment that we saw here at the Garden tonight, I'm not going to forget it. No one else did. And it's amazing to think that it started with boos thundering down from the seats here. 2,000 people made themselves heard when the Celtics went behind by 29 in that first half and allowed the Spurs to shoot 70% to that point. Celtics came out with energy right away. Marcus Smart, who was visibly hurting throughout this one, wasn't able to take a lot of shots, hit a game-tying 3 down the stretch though, was scrapping out defensive positions, took a charge late in this one, so he, among others, answered the call, and at times his legs gave out. I'm going to be interested to see how he's feeling health-wise over the next couple of days, but Smart gritted this one out and deserves credit as well. Not quite a team victory. This was Jayson Tatum. But those contributions, guys stepping up to the plate, 15 rebounds from Tristan Thompson, 10 points, 9 rebounds from Robert Williams, and his return to the starting lineup tonight. There's hope that this is a turning point for this team as they move into a tie with the Atlanta Hawks for the 5 seed here. Otherwise, it's just going to be a moment of early achievement, legitimate achievement. Our Nick Gelso pointed out, I was expecting to put the asterisk on Tatum's performance because it came in an overtime game. But when you look at the stats, Larry Bird, Jayson Tatum, only 2 more minutes played by Tatum here. An incredibly efficient performance to cap an outstanding month, answering the call when this team needed him most here. And the Celtics, with 8 games to go, have some hope that they found the best versions of themselves in the second half there. When's Kemba Walker going to return? Does this team ever find full health and meet its potential? How did the seedings line up? Those are going to be the questions that determine how this season plays out. But they gave themselves an incredible amount of hope here tonight, and it was inspiring to watch in that second half. Celtics 143, Spurs 140. I'm interested to see what Greg Popovich said about that one. You can find his presser, all the Celtics reaction to this on our YouTube channel, as well as Celtics All Access. Our post-game reaction to this, A. Sherrod called it a top 5 performance that he's ever seen from an individual in this one here, as well as our array of podcasts throughout the week and into next week. We'll be back live on Sunday here from TD Garden for Celtics Trailblazers, 7:30. So join us for Celtics postgame, rewatch tonight's postgame, and of course, tune in on Locker Room 1 hour after every game when we join you and to answer your questions, hear your takes. And this was a dreadful week for a lot of people coming through, and just agony after that Thunder loss. It's the opposite feeling here tonight, but is that the way it's going to go? Highest of highs, lowest of lows. That's the way it's gone so far this year. Maybe that's who these Celtics are. They're able to give us both ends of that spectrum here this year. But at some point, it's got to choose one way or the other in the postseason here, and we'll continue to follow that here on CLNS Media. I'm Bobby Manning. Jayson Tatum, 60 points, matching Larry Bird as the all-time single-game leader in Celtics history here tonight in a win over the Spurs. We'll see you on Sunday.